This report was commissioned by the Santa Barbara Foundation in response to concerns about the future of Santa Barbara's Funk Zone, a neighborhood with a rich and varied creative community. Creative Collaboration Network was asked to give voice to the rising number of artists, designers, and innovators who currently live and work within this 10-block beachside neighborhood. We walked the neighborhood on several occasions, met the residents, and explained the project. All of the creatives we spoke to agreed to take an online survey. They were thankful for our interest and curious about what the city, the developers, and the foundation were interested in doing. 48 of the 52 creatives completed and sent in the survey. We should also note, for the purpose of this project, creatives refers to everyone whose work includes a strong creative component. Creatives ranged in age from 20 to over 60. Half are between the ages of 40 and 60. 10 were over 60 years old, and 16 were between the ages of 20 and 40. Females are a growing presence in the Funk Zone with 36%. Historically, the post-industrial neighborhood was predominantly populated by men. With more female artists and gallery owners moving in, the numbers are beginning to reach a balance. Since people could select all art forms they participated in, actual numbers are greater than the number of creatives in the area. You can see from this graph that traditional arts such as drawing, sculpture, and painting, along with graphic design and photography, were the predominant art forms. While many creatives were desirous of live workspace, just as many were satisfied to have a place to work and exhibit. Nearly half were interested in sharing space with other creatives, and a dozen also thought it was important for the neighborhood to include performance space. Many needed a working environment where they could make noise, dust, and odors, and the majority of creatives liked that they could work late hours and weekends without disturbing anyone. Only 7% said they don't collaborate with others, and for those who do, it was equally divided between collaborating with others inside or outside of the neighborhood. 39% said they are already collaborating with studio mates. A surprising 18 creatives said that they have space within their studio to exhibit their work, and 10 of those said that they had space to share or show the work of others. 3 or 4 are actually galleries, but the others are just open to supporting others. 82% of the respondents said they would participate in neighborhood-wide events, if only attending the events of others. In a recent experiment, dozens of creatives opened their studios, provided demonstrations, exhibitions, and live music for their venues, demonstrating their willingness to participate in a community-wide event. Most participants were in favor of monthly events, although they wanted them to be pop-up events, meaning with no regularity to their participation. The freewheeling style of creatives precludes locking them into a specific night each month. They would rather things develop more spontaneously. 30 creatives were interested in joining some type of creative association, but nearly as many saw the value in including other neighborhood stakeholders and businesses. Very few saw themselves as part of the established associations such as the Chamber of Commerce or Santa Barbara's downtown organization. While creatives were mixed as far as welcoming people into their studios, all wanted to be a part of some type of guide to the neighborhood. Many, 32, were interested in connecting with others in a social atmosphere, while 29 were eager to have a way to receive feedback about their work. 26 saw value in networking for business purposes. An astounding 100% wanted to connect in some way with other creatives. As in other parts of this survey, many aspects came to fruition during the latest Focus on the Funk Zone event. 5 people said that they would step into a leadership role, and they did. Another 6 said they would help with neighborhood-wide events. In fact, everyone actively participated in one way or another. Most participants indicated that being in the Funk Zone afforded them the opportunity to have a flexible workspace, be in close proximity to other creatives, and work in an area of town that has an urban feel. Cheap rent was also important. Most respondents thought the area would benefit most by having a specific marketing plan, as well as special signage leading people to and through the neighborhood. When given an opportunity to dream about what they thought the neighborhood should include, 67% wanted to see more cafes, with urban gardens and fresh food markets following closely behind. Nearly half were also interested in having communal gathering spaces with additional restaurant options. While 20% of respondents said more tourists would be a major enhancement, 60% had mixed views and felt the tourist traffic should be managed somehow. Creatives cannot work with constant interruption, and yet they need to have a public outlet in order to sell their work. 64% felt that variances in land use would be helpful. They also felt strongly that improved access to parking and easing restrictions on public art would be important considerations in defining the area. Over half of the respondents also agreed that special signage and streamlined event permitting would be helpful. All of these measures would bring greater vitality to the neighborhood. The economic reality that 44% of respondents fully support themselves with their creative work gives credence to the fact that the arts are an important economic driver in the neighborhood. Another 34% supplement their income with other work, but hope to join the majority soon. A few do not derive income from their work. As you can see, the current rents are quite reasonable, with only a few paying over $3 a square foot. Newly rehabbed properties in the neighborhood are being offered for more than $3 a square foot. It will be difficult for creatives to afford newly renovated or new construction, and if not managed properly, they will be priced out altogether. Nearly 82% of the creatives would relocate if their rents were increased by as little as 25%, meaning it would not take much to displace people if rents increased. We asked people where they would go if they had to leave the funk zone. About half would relocate somewhere else in Santa Barbara, while the other half would leave the area entirely. Very few would consider Goleta or Ventura as viable alternatives. For the purpose of this study, we conclude this presentation with some preliminary recommendations for moving forward with the creation of a special arts district. Many of these ideas came from the survey, but we also considered best practices found nationwide. A survey of area property owners is the next logical step. While we interviewed a sampling in the process of this study, a more inclusive survey of all property owners would be helpful to assess what they are thinking, how they support the idea of a special district, and how they intend to participate. We also recommended that a backbone organization be established to help support the creatives in moving forward. The creativity is there, they just need business support for managing tourism, coordinating events, establishing an association, exploring funding options, and coordinating with other neighborhood stakeholders. Special thanks to the Fishbone Artists Collaborative and the Santa Barbara Foundation for commissioning this study. For more information about the Funk Zone project and other collaborative initiatives, please visit our website at www.creativecollaborationnetwork.net or email me at laurainks@cox.net.